My mother and father have been with me since day one.
Yeah.
My mother and father have to be there. And I said, done, dude. We'll make it happen. I hung up the phone. I called my lawyer and I said, I don't care what it takes. Sign this kid. I love the challenge of it. I love that nobody else can pull this off. I love that nobody else can do what we're doing. This is the kind of stuff I live for.
Mr. President.
What's up, buddy?
I'm good. Dana White. Listen, this is, before we start this, I can see Bruce Lee over your shoulder.
Yeah.
This is Enter the Dragon. I feel like I'm here. I feel like I'm in a movie.
So this gym that they built for me, so I have these quotes all over. That quote from Bruce Lee is everywhere.
Yeah.
It's in my house, it's in my gym, it's in my office, it's everywhere. That's the quote that I've lived my life by.
The mantra.
And a lot of the other stuff in here is they tried to make it feel like my gym at home.
It's good, man. It's a nice little setup overlooking the Yaz Marina Formula One track.
Yep.
Superb. Really
Doesn't suck.
Doesn't suck at all, no. And a little bit of a thank you as well before we start this conversation. For the UK fans that are going to be watching this interview, you've given us a stellar card at prime time, European time zone. We don't have to get up in the early hours of the morning. We don't have to set our alarm clocks anymore.
So we talked about this at length, me and my executive team. And, makes sense for us to do this prime time in the United States, but you guys deserve one, man. I've been here for 5 weeks doing the midnight and 3 a.m. start times, and much respect to all of you, and much appreciation for your, die-hard support of the UFC. The times that you guys get up and watch these fights is impressive.
No, we got it.
So
Main card starting 7 o'clock UK, 7 p.m., not 7 a.m., 7 p.m. UK start time. Rumours going around that there may be fans at the weekend or not?
No, there will be no fans. I have plans. I have meetings this week, actually, where I'm trying to set up. I believe that Abu Dhabi, right here, right now, is the new fight capital of the world. The fights that are going on here, the things that have been happening here, you watch any of the social media from fighters that are leaving here, my employees, media. This is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, this bubble, and the way that this has been done here. The level of competition that's going on right now, the level of fights that we're delivering in a pandemic is unbelievable. And what we're going to do, hopefully, is soon give fans the opportunity to come to Fight Island and this place be the first place to have a live crowd.
Are you thinking this year, or is that going to be something in 2021?
Early next year.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. The relationship that you've obviously got here in Abu Dhabi has been stellar since, we were lucky enough to be here last year at 242, and when all this began, and nobody foresaw the pandemic, but when it came, to have a relationship like this for the international fighters, the guys that couldn't get into America, has been a bit of a godsend.
I can't express to you what it's meant to me personally, what Abu Dhabi has done for us, not just through the pandemic, but over the last 12 years. I have an amazing relationship with this country and its royal family, and everybody that's associated with them. These people are passionate UFC fans, and I don't know, I can't even put into words how much this place means to me. I love this country, and I'm looking at houses here right now, or condos. I want to own a place here. I want citizenship here. I might just stay here. I might not leave Abu Dhabi.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not with this weather and the way that they treat you?
I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's good.
Everything, not just the weather.
The hospitality, everything about it, you're right.
If you look at what's going on in the rest of the world right now, the whole world has lost its mind. This place is normal. There's this, I think that some people have a fear of the Middle East, to come to the Middle East to vacation and see these things. This is the safest place in the world. You're safer here than you are in Los Angeles, Las Vegas, New York, any of these cities right now in America. This is way safer. Not just from COVID-19, but from all the other insanity that's going on right now in the world. It's been a pleasure to be here for 5 weeks. And I love this country. I love Abu Dhabi, and I can't wait to get back. And that's from a guy who's been here for 5 weeks straight in a bubble.
Well, speaking about that, I can only speak from our team's experience of it. We've been here now, I think 5 days, and already tested for COVID, I think on 4 occasions. The lengths and the protocols that yourselves and obviously the Abu Dhabi government have gone to have been outstanding, in my opinion.
How about the service?
Oh,
how about the attention to detail? How about the restaurants that you go to? The beach club down there with the pool and the octagon set up down there. I mean, it's just, we're in a bubble and it just couldn't possibly be any better than this is. It just, when you try to explain to people who haven't experienced this yet, the level of service, the attention to detail, when you look at all the other bubbles that are going on, you realize we've never had somebody test positive in here that was inside the bubble. People have tested positive coming from outside the bubble in, but nobody's tested positive here. Wow. And if you look at all the negativity that I faced from the media when I said that I would do this the right way, and look at where we are now.
How has the pandemic affected the way that you plan the UFC schedule? Because I would imagine that in a January, you sit down and you go, right, these are maybe the narratives that could play out for a full year. You've not necessarily been able to do that this year. You've got to go month by month, I suppose, have you?
It's changed everything about our business.
Yeah.
You know, 7-8 months ago, whatever it was, you asked me a question, I could tell you, Dana, where are you going in December? I'd tell you where we were going in December, and that's where we would go. Now, you know, I'm only really, all the media has been here. A lot of these guys have been here for 5 weeks. I've scrummed maybe 3 times with them because I don't have these. They want to ask me about the future. I don't know what the future holds. I don't know what's going to happen in the election in the United States, which I think personally is going to be huge on which way this thing goes.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know what's going to happen with COVID or all these other things that are going on. All I can tell you right now is this Saturday we have Khabib versus, and that's what I'm focused on. And then as soon as we get on that plane on Sunday, we'll get back to the office and I'll start working on what's next. We're literally going, not even month to month, it's week by week. You're going week to week. Mm-hmm. It's been the most difficult thing I've ever faced in my entire career. And look at where I came from. If you look at where the UFC started, this has been the hardest year ever.
And still put on 32 events at this point through a pandemic, which is crazy, really, isn't it? When everything else is going on.
Yeah, this will be our 32nd event through the pandemic.
Let's talk about this weekend then. 254. It's a stellar card. Let's talk about the main event, the lightweight championship of the world, Khabib versus Dustin Gaethje. Now, if I can take you back just over a year to 242 here in Abu Dhabi, Khabib beats Dustin Poirier. The whole conversation afterwards with Khabib was Tony Ferguson. Even he came out and he said, this is the fight that everybody needs to see.
Right.
You guys made it. It sadly fell off, pandemic and various other things. The rise of Dustin Gaethje, would you say that this particular fight of the weekend now, from a fan's point of view, is even more hotly anticipated than the anticipation of Khabib versus Tony Ferguson was?
I wish I had the numbers for you right now. I have my people putting the numbers together now. And I'll give it to you in a couple of days. This thing is trending off the charts. It's already breaking all the records. It's trending higher than Cowboy versus Conor. So this is a massive fight. The Rock's agent, Brad Slater, hit me up last night and he said, I know you're out there in Abu Dhabi. I can't tell you how big this fight feels in America right now. It's huge right now in the United States. So yeah, we're trending off the charts. I posted right after the Ortega zombie fight, I posted the cold open for the show on Saturday. On my social media right now, it's already at 1.6 million views and over 4,000 comments.
Jeez.
So and yesterday I posted just a feature on those guys. It's at like 650,000 views. I posted it yesterday. Everything, all the reporters are telling me anything that they post about the fight is the traffic is killing it. And it's Tuesday.
Yeah. There's obviously storylines with both fighters coming into this fight. I want to touch upon Khabib first, if I may, because you've seen, obviously, the tribute that we paid to him and his father and their legacy in the world of mixed martial arts. You know him more as a man than the majority of us because we see him as a fighter and it's an unbelievable record that he's done inside that octagon. But what does him fighting at this particular point, when he's going through what he's going through personally, what does that confirm to you that you probably already knew of him as a man rather than just a fighter?
He's a hard guy. He you know, we all know how much he loved his dad, and how close they were. His dad was a hard man. His dad, raised him to be a man's man. And even when his dad passed and it started to come out, I reached out to him and I said, oh my God, I'm so sorry to, whatever. And all he hit me back with was, thank you, Dana, I appreciate it. And, he's the type of guy that's home, and I imagine he's the man of the family now. He takes care of everybody, and he's handling his business like a real man does. That's who Khabib is. He's a good guy. He's a good person, good human being. He's good to his family. He's good to his friends, and he's been great to this company.
And again, people see that, and that's why he's got such a massive fan base, and that's probably one of the reasons that it's trending off the charts for you. But also from a Justin point of view as well, because his attitude has always been, I don't take last-minute fights. In May, well, it was originally in April when you wanted to do it on April the 18th, he decided that he would step in and fight Tony Ferguson, and that has obviously landed him in this particular position that we find at the weekend. Regarding his rise in the UFC, that is it's an impressive ride what Justin Gaethje has been on, and the performance that he put in against Tony was off the charts.
Right. Listen, during this pandemic, we all faced tons of challenges, whether it was there was no gyms to train in, or you couldn't take the risk because you had a family member that was, that if they got it, might be fatal. Lots of different stories and situations. For all these kids that have stepped up, there is no reward without great risk. You want that big reward, you have to take the risk. He took the risk, Tony took the risk, and look at where it got Justin Gaethje. And on the flip side, when we were talking about what a man and what a good human being Khabib is, Justin Gaethje's thing, every fighter, when they get to a certain level, and we say, hey, we're going to make this big fight and whatever, they always have, Khabib will say, listen, I want my guy to be on the card, or I want this, or like a Conor McGregor will say, hey, I want this guy to do this and that. There's always something that somebody wants. Justin Gaethje said, he signed the contract, he's in for the deal. The only thing that I need and I have to have, and I understand no fans are allowed to come to this thing. My mother and father have been with me since day one. Yeah. My mother and father have to be there. And I said, done, dude. We'll make it happen.
Yeah, we saw
So his mom and dad are here for the fight. We literally have a setup for the seats. It's like, us that work the show, and then his mom and dad are to the right, So, yeah.
Amazing occasion for them, of course, at the weekend. The reserve fighter, Michael Chandler. Again, there's another guy that I met yesterday, an impressive guy, impressive talker, and just his attitude to even just be here when he may not even fight at the weekend. Again, attitude in these crazy times propels people's careers forward.
Another great kid. Love talking to this kid on the phone. He and I talked on the phone one time. I was taken off into the air on a plane, and he and I talked for 5 minutes. I hung up the phone, I called my lawyer, and I said, I don't care what it takes. Sign this kid.
Wow.
I want him. I like him, and I want him. We talked for 5 minutes on the phone. It's all it needed. All I needed to do was hear him for 5 minutes, and what a great kid this kid is. And again, if you look at the history of Khabib fights, anything is possible. So for him to come out and take this chance to possibly get this title fight, brilliant. I mean, it's what you should do. That's why Gaethje's here right now. That's why so many of these things have happened. Look at the rise of
Khamzat.
Yeah, Khamzat Chimaev, right? Look at the rise. The guy said, I want to fight again next week. I said, really? Okay, let's do it. So I called the boys and said, make another fight for next week. We did it. The kid's got 1 million followers. He had 30,000 followers. These are the type of fighters that fans love. Mm-hmm. They love guys that are like, when you're a fight fan, that guy's a dream, because you're either going one way. This is the kind of guy you love that wants to fight everybody. I'll fight everybody. I don't care who it is or whatever. Those are the kind of guys you love, or the kind of guy you love to hate. It's a winner for a lot of these kids. And going through this pandemic, when I was so confident in the beginning that we would be first, we would pull this thing off and make it safe, is because I knew I would spend whatever it took and do whatever it took. We were talking about building our own lab in Las Vegas for testing. I was going to hire scientists if I had to figure out how to test for COVID and do whatever. I was willing to do whatever it took. And my team are savages. My staff are, I tell them all the time. I stand up at this big Christmas party that we throw every year, and I tell them all, you guys are the best in all of sports. You're the best. There's nobody better. This year, the universe gave us the opportunity to prove it, okay? Then I knew my fighters would go. I knew these guys would fight, and I knew they would go, and I knew day one when this thing hit that we could pull all of this off. And here we are, 32 events later.
No, absolutely. Just a quick one on a couple of fighters we mentioned there. If he doesn't fight this weekend, Michael Chandler, yesterday in a conversation that we had with him, he fancies Tony Ferguson, and he fancies it in January. What's your thoughts on that?
I like it.
Yeah?
I like it. We're not even
thinking about that, I know, because you're on at the weekend.
Not even
but it's a great fight.
Listen, it's Tuesday. Let me get through Saturday, and then I'll figure out what's happening in December before I even get to January, you know?
Well, I'm going to do one more on January, if I may, because it involves Conor, and obviously with the UK and Irish audience.
Of course.
Conor, Dustin, they both said on social media that they fancy it. Where are we at with a January date for those guys? How far down the line are we?
Well, you know, we've offered the fight, and we got him his own date. That wasn't a date. That date didn't exist. We worked with ESPN. We got him his own date, and you know, we've offered them the fight. I know that contracts haven't been signed yet, but you know, Conor's never, listen, Conor likes to play games, okay? Conor plays games, and he does his thing. One thing Conor doesn't do, Conor doesn't commit to a fight and then not fight. Conor fights, you know? Things are going to change now. This isn't the same Conor McGregor, you know, back in the day. Conor's rich. Conor is very wealthy. And I think that Conor is in a position right now where he's just trying to make moves that he thinks, you know, all right, but we'll see. We'll see how this whole thing plays out.
Does that fight have to happen at 155 to then be in line for a shot?
It's 155 pounds, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not putting on a friggin' multi-million-dollar fight at a catch weight that means nothing.
Or even 170, that's what I mean. So
it means nothing. Yeah. That fight means nothing at 170. Neither one of those two are ranked at 170 pounds. And it doesn't do anything in the 55-pound division if either one of them win, because they're fighting at 170. It literally makes no sense. There are plenty of organizations that put on fights that make no sense. You can go watch those kind of fights every weekend. That's not what we do here.
Just a quick one then on the 170 division, because I think the last time we spoke, we were speaking maybe Masvidal and Nate, but since obviously Colby's fought, is it Masvidal, Colby going to be next? And then off the back of that,
I don't know.
What for Leon Edwards?
I don't know. I want to get Leon Edwards a fight, a good fight that means something. So we're working on it, you know? Like we were just talking, basically this whole interview. This business does not run the way that it has run the last 20 years. It's a different time. We're going through all this craziness, and it's much, much harder to run this business than it was. And don't get me wrong, I love the challenge of it. I love that nobody else can pull this off. I love that nobody else can do what we're doing. This is the kind of stuff I live for. So I accept the challenge. But when I do interviews with you guys and I do scrums and all this stuff, you guys are used to getting so much information from me in one scrum that it's just not that way anymore. I can't tell you what's going to happen on Saturday, let alone January.
Final one then, co-main event, away from the main event at 254 at the weekend. Great fight between Whittaker and Cannonier. Really looking forward to it.
So good.
How impressed are you with the champion of this division? He's calling out contenders. Israel Adesanya is saying, listen, if Cannonier comes through, I want Cannonier. That's unusual.
It's not unusual.
Champions don't call out contenders.
It's not unusual. Israel Adesanya, when Costa got hurt, called out Romero, who didn't deserve it at the time. But his idea was, everybody thinks this dude is a bad man. I want to show everybody that I can beat him. Even though he doesn't deserve it, I want the world to know I can beat him. How awesome is that? That's how you become a superstar. That's how you as the champion start saying, yes, this guy deserves it. Yes, this guy deserves it. And then the UFC and the rankings say, no, he doesn't deserve the fight. But would you disagree with me that he's one of the baddest dudes in the world? No, we would not disagree with you on that. I love that stuff. I love that. And You know, I think that, I know Adesanya's in a place right now where he's like, if Cannonier wins, I want Cannonier. But if Whittaker wins and beats Cannonier, the rematch is massive for both of them. And It's obviously a huge fight in Australia and New Zealand, right? And globally. So it makes sense for him to fight him too. But the incredible problem that we have right now with Adesanya is he has so many options of what he can do. But no matter what road we go down, if he fights Cannonier, if he fights Whittaker, if he fights Blachowicz, if he fights Jones, you know, all these fights are going to make this kid, A, a lot of money, and B, put him down as one of the greatest to ever live. So he has nothing but good problems right now.
Neither have we. Looking forward to the weekend.
Truth.
UFC 254. Can't wait for it this weekend. And thank you very much for the time zone once again.
Thank you, sir.
Top stuff. Thank you, Dana.